Welcome to the Genealogy Radio Show, the radio show that's keeping you in the loop. And this week's show is all about the online resources offered by John Grenham's Ancestry site. And it's a wonderful resource indeed. So I'm going to be taking you through that this morning. And our show has been doing really well. We've covered counties of Ireland and we've really had a great time doing that. We finished with our team over the 6 months and they did a superb job. So I'd really like to thank them. And we have all those shows, podcasts as well. And John Grenham has always been very supportive of our genealogy radio show. So it's wonderful to be looking at the johngrenham.com website, the Irish Ancestors site, which is absolutely superb. It has a range of different tabs which really help you when you're looking. You can look at surnames, and when you open your tabs, you've got surnames, places, browsing tab, an ancestor tab, a site map, a wizard, and a blog. And it's really wonderful to be able to see this. Now, John is a top class genealogist, and his blog is well worth looking at alone. On June the 21st in 2021, one of the things that he did was a new tool for searching the institutions in the 1911 census. So I'm just going to explore a little bit about that blog today. And that was one of the delights of the National Archives of Ireland census site, is the wonderful flexibility of its search interface. And it has more search options. So that gives you a chance to drill down contextually into the lives of your ancestors, knowing that you have your ancestor who has 5 children, which county they're born in, how you can reduce your names that are common from Mary Ryan, for example, from a 600 entry to 10. So John's expertise as a top class genealogist really can help you with your superb quote scope for endless idle snooping. The returns, if you like, from this, he's very knowledgeable about what's going on. And when you go into his particular site, he links the 1901 and 1911 census according to place, which can be notoriously tricky. I was using his site last night, and what I used it for was to get the exact location for a brief to be able to work out who lived there in 1901 and the proximity within the civil parish framework. So I suppose I am just a convert because of how much time and what quality research we can gain from using a resource like John Grenham's site. You also have links that you can drill down to Griffith's valuation as well. And indeed, the blog alone is worth the expertise for being able to go through the different aspects of, a cautionary tale, Irish, Gaelic or Erse, sausages and heritage databases, and so on. So I'm going to go into sausages and heritage databases. And he did this previous to St. Patrick's Day, and he added a map service to the site. Brian Donovan of Enniclan and Find My Past allowed him to use the Ancestry Find My Past Roman Catholic parish transcripts, this time to create dynamic maps showing the number of marriages in each parish. And as each map, you start with a surname, and then you can clip through the map marker to go to the full transcripts on Find My Past, where they're free to view after registration. So the difference between the maps, you can search the marriages between 2 families and then go to the full records. This kind of stuff is really wonderful to be able to do things. And I like what he says about the mapping. Otto von Bismarck is reputed to have said that you should never examine too closely how laws and sausages are made. The same holds true for looking at the entrails of heritage databases. And that's very true. You might not find your answers as you wish. So wonderful to be able to look at this type of resource when you're doing it and so on. So He has a new tool for searching institutions on the 1911 census, which is wonderful as well. And it's wonderful to be able to see exactly what's going on there when you're looking at superb types of being able to link aspects of using tools and so on. So geocoding thoughts and bits and pieces, and how we learn is all off each other as well. So the blog alone, which might be little looked at in the aspects of John Grenham's site, is worth looking at. So I'm working back today. And we have the wizard, the Irish ancestors wizard. The wizard takes whatever you know about your Irish ancestor and produces a series of research recommendations and links. And that's wonderful. So you can start the wizard, you can type in the surname, you can type in the birth name, and you can see what you get there. And it is an absolute mine of information as well. And it gives you exactly when you've got place and time and all sorts of stuff to be able to use such a wizard. It really, really helps you indeed to be able to look at this and so on. So knowing these kind of aspects are really, really important as well. And you're asked the religion to be able to do that. And you know, it asks you, do you know the names? And you type in what you do know, and you type in what you've got, and so on. And any of that bit of information is really, really handy to be able to start drilling down the information of what you're looking at. And wizards, you know, it's a wonderful be able to know what's going on. So all these type of questions are worth answering, and you can see where you need to be able to look and so on. And it asks you those series of questions of what's happening and so on. So really, really useful. And all these kind of things are very, very useful, that you can just fill in what you've got, and you have the naming pattern and bits and pieces and so on. Then you're asked about place, and then you need to start knowing a few things. So you need to know that Queen's County is Laois and so on, and then you can it'll ask you to be able to drill down and so on, and you get a sense of place as well. So all sorts of stuff like that is really important as well. Now, you get some wonderful information. You get to know that the versions of the surname that you looked at. You get to know what the surviving baptismal records in the parish are, and how to find the locations and the years covered. You get to know the baptisms of children. You can click onto that. So you really, really get to know the drilling down. But what you get to know is the variants alone, of which there could be 55 variants. And so when you're searching irishgenealogy.ie and those kind of searches, that it starts to become very easy for you to be able to drill down and so on. So you really, really need to be able to drill down that kind of information and so on. And it is a wonderful way to be able to do that from scratch. So really what you need to be able to do is try and get this in order as you can, and you're just really trying to see what you can do during the course of your research. But there are many ways of being able to do this. Your sitemap is very, very interesting as well. So you have your samples, you have your wizard, you have everything that you've got. You've got the Irish abroad, you've got the church, the state, land, jobs, wills, directories, deeds, newspapers, genealogical office, births from 1864 to 1913, the 1911 census map, the 1901 census map, Pender census, the double surname sample, where you can try and locate people within the parish and so on, and you can browse the surname, and then the Catholic baptisms. Of all the sites that there is, this is easily one of the most useful, because you can really get a handle on location here. It's an absolutely genius site to put together as well. I'm thrilled to be using it. I use it nearly every week for research for the genealogy radio show, and I also think I'm happy to recommend it as a wonderful resource source and so on. So your ancestor report, it'll do up one for you and so on. It'll actually, it's just a wealth of information that you really can find. And if you're just interested in the surnames alone, well, then you can get the number and locations of the households of the name in Ireland between 1848 to 1864. You can get a surname map from the 1850s showing the number and locations throughout Ireland. You have the variant spellings and the associated names and so on. And you have the surname dictionary entries as well, and the surname and family histories. A map of number and locations of births of the name between 1864 and 1913, heads of households in the 1901 and 1911 census. And these are all wonderful sources. So today's genealogy is very much about the tools we use and how we use them. And of course, COVID-19 has really moved things along in genealogy to being a completely 100% online world. Roots Tech 2022 is going to be held 100% online. That is a very interesting departure, really. And I'm on the virtual board of the chapter of Association of Professional Genealogists, and it's not such a novel place to be anymore, that we run things virtually. It's become second nature for us to be virtual. I was virtual for a long time in relation to running things with the genealogy radio show, but I notice I'm not alone anymore in how this is done. The genealogy radio show is still one of massive interest, though, for all of us to be able to listen in on the latest developments and not be maybe looking at a screen, but be able to relax and think, well, I will explore John Grenham's site. I will Google that. I will look at the blogs that are out there and the information that is there and the wonderful sources that are there as such for this. So it really can make for meaning and so on. So some of the things that we've got coming up, I'll be running genealogy classes in the winter at UCC as part of the Skellig Cree initiative, and I'm sincerely hoping that we will have a summer school in 2022. I'm hoping, we have to hope at this stage, and we'll also be offering that school online as well. So if you have any queries about that, please do email me on this. And of course, we've got aspects in Dromoland Castle as well coming up, and all sorts of things going on in the world of genealogy, which is waking up to a face-to-face initiative again as well. So just having a look out there to see what's on and what's going on and so on is a very interesting aspect. So we've got the waterways being the online archives exploring 200 years of Ireland's inland waterways. It's a free online archive to those researchers whose ancestors lived in communities close to Ireland's rivers and canals, or who were involved in building, maintaining the workings of the Irish inland waterways. So it's very interesting. The 1879 rate collection book of Eli O'Garty, County Tipperary, a grand jury rate collection book. Well worth, we'll do a show on that actually to tell you what a rate book is. And the genealogist expands its Irish collection with RC Roman Catholic parish registers. So I'm going to be looking at that and taking my time, having a look with the addition of some 250,000 Roman Catholic parish registers from County Carlow. So terrific to be able to see that as well. Recent updates to English, Scottish and Welsh genealogy collections, and of course just wonderful to be able to look at Claire Santry's blog and be able to see some of the differences of what's going on and so on. So, pretty much that's all for today, folks, and thank you very much for listening. We air our genealogy radio show out on Thursday at 4 o'clock, and we're delighted to repeat it again then on Sunday. If you have any requests for anything that you would like covered, we will be covering reviews, book reviews, database reviews, methods, means of being able to keep records and so on. And we're delighted to be going into another year of our wonderful celebration of our anniversary of the genealogy radio show. We've been going for some years now, and we air every week of the year and have done so all during COVID. So that's all for today, folks, and thanks very much for listening. My name is Lorna Maloney, and I'm a practicing genealogist. So don't forget to email me with your queries if you so wish on irishroots@clansandsurnames.com. We'd be delighted to be able to talk you through those as well. Thank you for listening.